Hey football fans, welcome back to another edition of Under Further Review. In these segments, I'll be giving you a quick look at each team going into the 2013 season. I'll be talking about last season, off-season, the draft, positions, and can they make the playoffs. Today on my board, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Let's look at what happened last year. They went 10-7, they made the playoffs. Adrian Peterson wins the NFL MVP. Christian Ponder seems to be very inconsistent, and the passing game for the Vikings ranked a miserable 31st, and the passing defense finished 24th in the league. That's not going to cut it. The offseason. Well, this team surprised me last year. Let's start out with the fact that they made the playoffs by beating my Packers in a phenomenal game in Week 17, which I got to attend, which was pretty awesome. I wished Adrian Peterson also would have beat the Eric Dickerson's record of the rushing title, but that didn't happen. But anyways, this team went 3-13 just the year before and makes the playoffs. And also Leslie Frazier saves his job. But there are some serious issues that I must address here. So the Vikings are in no position to feel comfortable as they had a great season last year. Let's start at QB, where the chips are being thrown onto a guy who seems to be shaky so far in his career. So the Vikings brought in Matt Castle for some insurance, but Ponder needs to show he can get the job done. It's one thing to have the best running back in the league, but this makes them really just a one-dimensional team with the poor playing of Ponder. So the Vikings also lost Percy Harvin to Seattle in a trade, and Antoine Winfield, who later joined Harvin in Seattle. So, someone else needs to step up to help Peterson out, because guarantee it, the defense will be having their eyes on Peterson this year, because it's going to be really difficult for Peterson to put up the numbers that he did last year. I don't know, could it be Greg Jennings in the midst of what I see? I don't know, but what I did like in the offseason was that the draft that they had, they put together, people that they could put in right now, so we'll have to see. But let's go to the draft. My favorite picks from the draft. Well, nailing 3 of your first round picks is very hard to do. I think the Vikings just did that. But I'll pick one that I liked in particular, which was Sharif Floyd from Florida. He looks like a workhorse, and the Vikings could plug him in right away to stop the run. This guy was a top 5 talent. So he should have been in the top 5, but who just fell to them at the 23rd pick. So they got really a nice gem there for the Vikings. The other pick I liked was Jeff Locke from UCLA, the punter, who will be taking over the punter duties from former ex-Bruin Chris Kluwe. Just to let you know, for me watching the UCLA Bruins this year, or last year, I can assure you that he will make beautiful kicks to ease some slack on the defense. Positions. Quarterback. Well, the Vikings need Ponder to step up, plain and simple. If not, they'll put in Matt Castle in to see if they can make some chemistry. But as it seems, Ponder needs to play with an edge and have a steady production to save his starting job. Otherwise, he's on the cutting board. Running back. Adrian Peterson's 2012 stats from last year. He rushed for 2,097 yards and 12 touchdowns with an average of 6 yards an attempt. All coming back from this torn ACL and just tarnished his whole knee. Comes back and plays like that. Watching him play is just unbelievable, and you can't help but like a guy that has the motor. AP does. He gave a season which I'll never forget, which may be hard to do again, but I would bet my money on this, that he will eventually break Dickerson's rush record if he keeps running the way that he does. Wide receivers. Well, Vikings, you just can't help it, can you? It seems that talent that comes from Green Bay always ends up going to you guys in the later years of their careers. What is up with that? The Vikings needed a playmaker, obviously, with wideout Harvin gone, and now they have a player in Jennings. Jerome Simpson had an awful year in 2012, and he'll need to step up, or first-round pick Cordell Patterson could see some early playing time. This position worries me, though, for the Vikings, because they need Jennings to stay healthy, which he wasn't for us last year, and they need someone else to help, out with the passing game. They do have a solid starter in Kyle Rudolph, who has Ponder's favorite target for the last year, but I mean, obviously everybody else needs to help up and step up basically and help Ponder. Offensive line. I see nothing but positives from this line. I mean, the same 5 players started all 17 games last year and are blocking for Ponder and AP, so they should have just another dominant year. Hopefully, no injuries happen. Defensive line. Jared Allen should be healthy this year. Brian Robinson is a solid starter along with Kevin Williams, who will mentor the first-round pick Sharif Floyd, and Latroy Guan, if I'm saying that correctly, should see playing time at the nose too. I really like this line and expect them to be dominant just as they've always been. Linebackers. Chad Greenway is the best thing about this linebacking corps coming into this season. So, I mean, he's led the team in tackles 5 straight years now. So, this could really get ugly for Minnesota here because one of the biggest issues this offseason was finding a middle linebacker, which really didn't get addressed this year. Aaron Henderson looks to be the favorite, but really is an ideal fit for it. So, it's just kind of looking messy for this group. I'm intrigued to see who will play the weak side linebacker between Marvin Mitchell and Gerald Hodge. Secondary. This unit seems to be on the upswing, even though they've lost Antoine Whitfield this year. Xavier Rhodes should start with Chris Cook opposite of him on the corners. I think free safety Harrison Smith had a spectacular year as a rookie. And strong safety play could be up for grabs this year between current starter Jamarcus Sanford, Nistro Raymond, and Robert Blanton. I expect a better passing defense, hopefully, even though they finished 24th in the league last year. Special teams. Blair Walsh was absolutely fantastic last year as a rookie. He was kicking a record 10 50-yard field goals, which gave him a trip to the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. He should be soaking in another dominant year. Of course, you have new UCLA punter Jeff Locke, who should be great. Without Harvin, though, returning kicks or punts this year, though, really hurts the Vikings. They expect maybe Patterson to try and emulate the same making play abilities that Harvin did, but I'm very unsure about how that will pan out. So Harvin's not returning your kicks, so that diminishes a lot on the special teams. Okay, can they make the playoffs? No, you won't, Vikings fans, and here's why. Schedule is not in favor of you guys. Lots of tough games coming right out of the gateway the first week. I mean, and your bye week's at week 5. Week 5 is your bye week, so you're going to have to end up toughing it out the rest of the year, So who knows, I'm really not going in looking at the Vikings this season as a really dominant team like they were last year. So the other thing is that, will Christian Ponder show up? What is he going to show this season? There needs to be a consistent play out of him. So, yeah, of course you have the best running back in AP, which I love watching. He's great. But this is a quarterback-driven league. And when playoff time comes up, where's Christian Ponder going to be at that point? I don't even think this team is good enough to make it to the playoffs with Ponder still at quarterback. Yeah, they made the playoffs last year, but, I mean, everybody's going to be gunning for AP this year, so Ponder really needs to help and step up. So, all the weapons I see helping Ponder this year will only be Jennings and Randolph, too, receiving-wise. That won't cut it for me. And last year was an exciting time to be a Vikings fan, but I think just this year I can see a potential setback, including a season without a playoff spot. So, Ponder is going into a make-it-or-break-it kind of year for himself. So, I think Ponder comes up short and helping the Vikings and earning a spot to the playoffs. Sorry, Vikings fans. And with that, my football fans, ends my segment on the Minnesota Vikings. I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe and leave any comments below. Tell me how much you hate me for picking on the Vikings, blah, blah, blah. And come back to see my next video with my division champions, the Green Bay Packers. See you later, football folks.